Hello, hello, it's Patty Joe. I'm trying to get another one done, another witness in before I go to work tonight for the first time in a long time. I'm so nervous. Okay, we're on day 5, and we're going to continue on hearing Daryl believing his own lies. And everybody has to tell the truth but Daryl. And everybody's truth is a lie except for Daryl's. Okay, let's moving on.
Statement called. Next witness.
The state would call Heather Rashadi.
Oops. I've actually downgraded.
Matt Harris.
Oh my gosh.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Harris, thank you for making your way up to the. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Matthew Harris, Matthew Harris.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, I'm going to draw your attention to November 21st, 2021. Were you at the Waukesha Christmas Parade on that date?
I was.
And were you a spectator? Were you a participant?
Spectator.
Who were you with?
There was a large group of friends and some family in that group.
Okay. So did you bring your family?
I brought my 2 daughters.
Okay. And was your wife there?
My wife was not there.
Okay. And how about just generally, approximately how many people were with your group?
I think our group had about 19 or 20 between kids and adults.
And where were you sitting or standing to view the parade?
We were right on the corner of Main Street in Clinton, right in front of the Steaming Cup.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 51. It's going to display in the front of you on your screen. If you can just let me know when it's displayed in front of you.
Yes.
Does that accurately depict the corner that you were at to watch the Christmas parade?
It does.
I would ask the court to admit it into evidence and to publish it to the jury.
Which one does you see of this particular exhibit?
Overruled. Exhibit, I'm sorry, can I have the number again? Is it 51?
51.
Exhibit 51 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Sir, the screen in front of you is a touch screen, so can you kind of put in maybe a circle around the area that the 19 people that you were with kind of encompassed?
Pretty much this whole corner.
Okay.
Wow.
And were you standing, sitting?
Standing.
Was everyone standing?
Everyone was standing.
And there's a curb. Were you guys up on the curb and the bump out, or were any of the people that were watching with your group in the street?
Most of the children were sort of in the front area on the curb and out into the street, and most of the adults had sort of huddled behind.
Okay. I'm assuming that the purpose is candy's handed out so the kids got it first?
Sure,
Okay.
correct.
And where were you, if you look at that circle, were you, as we're looking at the diagram, towards the right of that circle, which would be east, or were you to the left of the circle, which would be west?
I know I'm drawing on this a lot, probably right here in the back, towards right in the middle.
And how about your kids?
Right out here in the front.
Thank you. And were there other people, as you were standing looking at the street, which way is the parade coming? Is it coming from, as you're looking at the street, your left down to your right? If you draw an arrow.
Right, yeah, sure.
Thanks. And what, approximately what time did you get there, do you know?
Most of us had just come from a soccer game in Brookfield, so I think we got there probably right before it started, 3:45, 3:50. I believe it started at 4.
So again, were there a lot of people in to the right and to the left of you, spectators?
It was pretty packed,
Okay.
correct, yep.
Thank you. At some point, and we can take this exhibit down, at some point did you hear some type of commotion?
I did.
Do you know where in the parade route, like what floats had just gone through or what floats were in front of you? Did you?
Yeah, I didn't recall at the time what float was about to come in front of us, but I do know that the Dancing Grannies had just passed us.
Okay.
And then that's when I heard the commotion, an audible gasp. There was a large vehicle kind of blocking our view of what was coming, kind of obscured anything, and then that's when I saw a red SUV from the north side come around in front of that vehicle. It headed straight for that corner where our children were, so it was kind of coming dead on at us. And then at the last second, kind of clipped that corner and then veered off, and I saw it continue on into the Dancing Grannies group.
So as you were looking to your left, which would be, and I'm horrible at directions, it would be to the east. As you were looking there, when you said you heard a gasp?
Yeah, like an audible gasp, commotion, just an eerie sound of not parade sounds, just a loud, like, draws your attention to something is going on, but we couldn't see because, again, there was a large vehicle right there.
And I'm assuming the large vehicle that you're describing was part of the parade?
Correct.
So where he is seeing is it's going around that Citizens Bank float as it goes around and hits that other lady, which is the gasp that the other person actually described, and straight for his group, and then into where he's going to be the most destructive. Wow, this is
Approximately how
exhausting.
far to your left, as you're looking at the parade, was the vehicle when you first saw it, the red SUV that you've described?
Hold on, there's been an objection. I was mid-question, so if you could just re-ask it, I didn't hear it all.
Approximately how far from your position was the red SUV when you first saw it?
It would have been.
Oh, since
There's been no objection to that, so he may answer.
Okay.
It would have been on, I believe that's the south side of the street, so maybe 30 feet.
So
So you
across the
first
street.
saw it approximately 30 feet to your left, and it would have been on the opposite side of the road from where you were seated.
Yeah, just on the other side of the large vehicle, that Suburban that was.
She is struggling with those directions. She's not Lewis and Clark, is she? She is. She does her directions by, do I turn at the Chick-fil-A or not?
So on the driver's side or the passenger
Driver's
side?
side.
Thank you. So the vehicle comes
Bless
on
her
the
heart.
driver's side of that car that was in the parade. What do you see next?
I saw it come along the side of it, and then once it cleared that vehicle, it made it which would have been a right-hand turn right towards our corner. I remember having a split second of what is going on, and then I remember screaming, "Get back," because all of our children were right there. It came through, it veered off, and my immediate thought was he hit something in the front there and then continued off. I would say the parents, mostly the dads, kind of ran up there and kind of check on the children, and I recall at that moment, after a second pause, looking down the road to see where it was going. My immediate thought was to kind of run after it, and then I realized I had an injured child and a 3-year-old as well that was there. I distinctly remember seeing 2 victims laying in the street, and then I looked up the other way where I had come, and I saw a woman with plaid pajamas lying in the street up the road, and that's when I grabbed my daughter and grabbed her to pull her back.
So when you said that you looked to your right and you saw two other people in the roadway, were they from your group or were they from a different group?
This was after probably 3 to 4 seconds in duration. It was advanced up into the Dancing Grannies group that had just passed us.
Could you tell the path of travel as you said it was heading towards your corner and then it veered away? Do you recall, can you describe that?
Yeah,
imagery?
it came, veered away and then headed right back, continued down Main Street, seemingly right down the middle of the road.
Okay. And did you see it impact the grannies, or
I
did
did
you
not.
just see bodies after
I
the
just
car
saw
went through
the
them?
victims on the ground.
Sir, do me a favor. Try to wait until she's fully asked the question. I know it can be a little nerve-wracking. Just so
A
that the
little.
record is clear.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
Sir, how old are the children, your children that were at the parade?
Overruled.
My children at the time was 7 and my youngest was 3.
And they were, you indicated, if I can have Exhibit 51 back up? Again, if you can put an X approximately where you were standing.
I believe I was standing sort of right back there a little bit on the sidewalk.
Okay. And your 7-year-old was approximately where? And your 3-year-old?
She had just come back by me a few minutes prior, so she was back by me.
She was up on the curb.
Correct.
And the path of travel as the vehicle came towards you, can you put an arrow approximately where you think it was veering from and where it was going towards?
Overruled.
No, it's what he saw. That's not
Believe it was
speculation.
coming right at
Oh.
us. And then quickly went that way.
Thank you. Were you able to estimate how fast the car was going?
Faster than normal speed limit on that road, I would say 25 to 30 miles per hour.
Did you hear a horn honking prior to it coming up on your group?
I did not.
Did the vehicle stop? Strike that. Were any people that were with your group injured?
Yes.
Who was injured?
My daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, had her foot ran over, her left foot, broke 4 toes and also her tibia and fibula in her leg. And then there was another friend of ours, younger daughter, who was next to her. I believe she got sideswiped from the vehicle with some face damage. Sorry.
And what was that girl's last name?
Knapp,
Knapp?
correct.
And your 7-year-old, what is her name?
Brinley,
Brinley?
correct.
Did you said that there was something with her tibia and
Fibula.
Fibula.
correct.
fibula. Were they broken
They were
or?
broken. Yes, sorry, they were
Okay,
broken.
sorry. What did you do?
Went at that moment.
Right after the car went past your
Yep.
daughter?
So we leaped up. My daughter was crying. Many of the children were crying. We were trying to triage through and just seeing who was injured, and because it came that close. And again, I had looked down, kind of just assessed the situation a little bit. I had grabbed my daughter, had set her back on the curb a little bit. Grabbed my oldest daughter, sorry, with the injuries. I grabbed my 3-year-old and set them there as well. And then at some point, a few moments later, got them. The other parents were lining up the children on the side of Clinton Street, on the side of the Steaming Cup, over in this area. So we eventually moved the kids back there.
Did you take Ridley that evening for medical care?
I did not.
Okay.
Oh.
How did you know that she had broken toes?
So there's a couple of variables that came into play there. We did not know at the moment. I knew that she had a foot injury, and I did the typical dad thing, and I downplayed the initial injury. I carried her to the car. At the time of walking to the car, as a leader at Pro Healthcare where I work, I got an alert that the hospital was on lockdown. So my initial thought was to take her up to the hospital myself. her acuity versus other victims laying in the road didn't warrant her waiting for an ambulance, that I could take her. At that time, when I got the lockdown notice on my phone, I decided to call my wife, who is a nurse practitioner in urgent care at the time, and I said, you know, you're going to want to check this out. She was almost done with her shift anyways. We lived 15 minutes from the house, so we kind of convened there. She looked at it and decided to take her in at that moment.
So what foot was run over?
Her left foot.
When she, after the car drove over her foot, did she still have her shoe on?
She had, no, both shoes had come off somehow, but we lost one eventually, and then the other one, we found one.
Were you able to look at specifically the left shoe after the car went past?
I was.
Overruled. You may answer.
I did see the shoe later on. I think it was the next morning when we kind of had a chance to collect ourselves, and I recall seeing a tread mark across her shoes.
Would that be consistent with the tire mark?
It would be.
So the right shoe was unable to be located that night, correct?
Correct.
And the left shoe you did find, and that's what you took home with you?
Correct.
Again, he's going to demonize that father's decision to take her in, and then finding out that there were indeed considerable number of broken bones. Actually, 4 toes could be multiple broken bones in each toe, because your toe has more than one bone in it. Each toe does, and then 2 bones in the ankle. Fun fact, I have extra bones in my feet because I have 2 basically the knuckle of my big toes. It's supposed to be 1 bone right there, 1 cubic style bone. And I actually have 2 little triangular bones in each, and that's quite rare. So I have, fun fact, actually have 208 bones instead of 206 bones. So, don't know why that was important, was it?
Now you said that at the time you didn't feel that your daughter should be taken by ambulance because of what you were seeing. Can you describe to the jury what you were seeing?
Death.
Just mass chaos. Nothing like I'm a combat veteran. I've been around mass hysteria most of my career, and I had never seen anything like this in such a safe environment where it was just hysteria, screams, sirens everywhere, just and unknowing, are there other vehicles coming down? Like what is actually going on here? So it was just an odd, eerie feeling for a very long period there.
And you would indicate you had seen a woman with plaid
It
pants.
seemed like pajama pants. Correct.
Okay. To the left of you.
Correct.
And did you see her being treated?
I saw many individuals standing around her. I know that one of the parents in our group is a physician. I believe she went on to render aid somewhere. I don't know if it was her or not, but I remember seeing a large presence around that woman.
And then did you see any bodies to the right of your position?
Yes, that's where I saw 2 within, which would have been part of the dancing granny group. I don't know if they were the grannies or not at the time. I just knew that there were 2 people laying on the ground.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 15. And I'm just going to have it viewed in front of you initially. Do you recognize generally this map?
I do.
And do you see the position that you and your family were on November 21st of last year?
I do.
And do you see your daughter's name in a box that's above the word steaming cup?
I do.
And it's connected to a star that's orange in color?
Correct.
Is that the approximate location of where you and your family were when your daughter was run over?
That
Your foot
is.
was run over? May I publish it to the jury? It's previously been admitted.
You may.
Again, showing the jury State's Exhibit 15, if you can circle the orange star that's associated with where your daughter was struck. Thank you. And the approximate location that you observed the woman to your left?
Objection.
Overruled. You may answer.
and to your right. Next, I want to show you what has been.
Before you move on, I just want the record to reflect, because it wasn't screen captured, that the stars that he circled on Exhibit 15,
Actually, sir, before, so we can capture it, can you again circle the area where you and your family were?
Already,
overall,
yeah,
he may
yeah,
do it again since it was cleared before we captured it.
yes.
And then the area where you
Dumb
saw
Daryl.
a body down on the ground to your left,
He's gonna object to that. Ugh.
you indicate that she had plaid pants, or it was a woman who had plaid pants?
Plaid, looked like pajama pants.
Okay.
Correct.
Do you recall what else she was wearing?
I don't.
Okay. And then to your right. Okay. And that would be the circles, if we can save that and mark it as 15. Hang on. Okay.
15 what? She doesn't even know.
I think we're on B as well. It'll be marked as Exhibit B.
Thank you.
Sorry, 15B.
And where you marked the circle to your left, that was associated with the same place where there's a name Jane Kulik.
Yes.
Overruled.
And where you circled to the right, there are 7 different names under Dancing Grannies. Is that fair?
Leaving the
Overruled. You may
witness.
answer.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's
And
like
there's
I
obvious.
didn't hear the last part that you said, Mr. Brooks. Are you withdrawing that?
No, I'm not.
What did you say then?
I said it's pretty obvious from the picture. It's leading the witness.
All right, your objections noted. It's overruled. His answers may stand.
Thank you. Sir, I'm next going to show you Exhibit 49,
The
which is a
objection was
video.
it was obvious?
I'm first going to have it played or put in front of you on your screen. If you can just let me know when you see the depiction on that screen.
I see it.
And you saw first couple seconds of that. Let me play it one more time and then ask you if you recognize that. Okay. I stopped it at 3 seconds. And do you recognize that area?
I do.
What is that area?
That's the corner right in front of People's Park where we were at the parade.
Okay. And you had said, is People's Park across from Steaming Cup?
Oh, sorry, Steaming Cup. Yeah, People's Park is directly across from Steaming Cup.
And that would have been the corner that you were located with your family?
At the Steaming Cup corner. Correct.
And do you see yourself depicted in this video?
I do.
Do you believe it accurately represents what you observed that day and what you did?
I do.
Okay. I would ask that Exhibit 49 be admitted into evidence and published to the jury.
For the record, how long is the video clip?
It is 8 seconds.
All right, thank you. Exhibit 49 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Thank you.
Noted for the record, Your Honor.
Of course they were stupid.
Okay, if we can play it starting at 0, going through the entire 8 seconds. Thank you. And you stated that you did see yourself in that video?
I did.
Going to the initial screen of that video, which would be at 0 seconds. Oh, we can put it back up. Do you see yourself in, it's at 0 seconds, do you see yourself in this still frame?
Yes.
Can you circle, again, using the touch screen, where you are? And are you carrying Brindley?
I am.
Oh.
Thank you. You can clear the screen. And next I would like to show just you on Exhibit 50. And see if you recognize this intersection as it plays through for approximately 5 seconds. Do you recognize that as being the intersection you and your family were at?
Just forward of our location, yes.
So as you're looking at this, would it be, as you're looking at the screen to the left?
Sustained is the form of the question, if you would please rephrase.
Where would you and your family have been in relationship to this, where this video was taken?
To the left.
Okay. And the person taking the video, are they on the same side of the street as you are or a different side?
Overruled. You
Looks
may
to be
answer.
the same side as our street.
Okay. And you just saw the dancing grannies go through?
Correct.
Does that accurately depict what you observed prior to the car coming through the parade?
Yes.
Okay. I would ask the court to admit exhibit number 50 and ask that it be published for the jury.
Your objection's noted. Exhibit 50 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
So we're going to start at 0 and just go through the 11 seconds. And I'll ask you questions about the video if you may. Sir, is that the red SUV that you previously described as striking your daughter?
It is.
And that white vehicle that you saw in that frame, was that the vehicle that you saw that was impeding your ability to see it initially, or is that a different vehicle?
Overruled. You may answer.
I believe that was a different vehicle.
Okay. And was that the path of travel that you observed that vehicle take, which was on the north side, thank you, north side of the street?
It is.
And then after it passed that intersection, you indicated that it went towards the middle and into the grannies?
It felt like that. Definitely.
Thank you. Great, thank you.
All right. Any questions for this witness?
Yes.
I don't
Just
know
one
if I.
second.
Okay, let's time that second.
Do you remember what time it was when you observed the vehicle?
The vehicle.
I don't recall the specific time I saw a red SUV. No.
You stated earlier that you saw the vehicle clip the corner. Would that be fair to say?
I saw it clip the corner of where the children were standing, correct.
And what do you mean by clip?
Come into contact with children that were in the front of that group of kids.
Is
You
that
hit
how you
them.
would define clip?
That's
Yes.
the definition of clip, correct.
You stated also that it veered quickly away from, I'm guessing, that corner. What do you mean by veered quickly away?
Sure.
The vehicle at one point was coming straight at us, and then the next moment it was heading 45 degrees back on the original route, so it quickly turned to get back onto the street. Otherwise it would have come onto the corner, onto that intersection at Clinton Street.
So it's fair to say if the vehicle did not quickly veer, as you say, it would have ran right into the people on the corner.
That's a fair statement, yes.
Is it also a fair statement to assume that the vehicle veered quickly away from that because it didn't want to strike the people on the
No,
corner?
no.
Grounds.
Speculation?
Thank you. Speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Calls for speculation
Thank
on the
you.
part of this witness.
Because it didn't
In your
want to.
opinion, why would the vehicle have quickly
Speculation.
veered?
Objection again.
Grounds.
Speculation.
Grounds.
Sustained. Calls for speculation.
If you were driving the vehicle and were able at any time to see people directly in your path, would you veer away?
Objection, relevance for this
Grounds.
trial.
Sustained.
And are the grounds for the sustain?
It's not relevant.
It's not relevant for this witness to answer that question. Calls for a hypothetical that he has not been qualified to answer. So it's also on foundation grounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been driving. That's a dumb question. They should have let him answer. I
Did
wouldn't
you
have
get
been
a look at
driving
the
through
driver
there.
of the vehicle?
I recall looking into the window, but my memory doesn't put a face to that or an image to that, so no.
Did you get the license plate number of the vehicle?
License plates.
You
This
see
might
any
answer your
tents on the
question.
vehicle
The United
that you
States
recall?
is a country in
No,
Northern
I was not
America
paying-
with a population of 326 million. It shares a border with Canada and Mexico. Its
Alexa,
cap-
none of that has to do with license plates.
I don't know that.
Attention to the vehicle after it came down barreling up the children. My eyes, tunnel vision to the kids.
So it'd be fair to say that with you focusing on the kids, it would be difficult to describe the vehicle at that point.
So are you sure it was reading
Outside of it,
TV?
obviously being a red SUV in my mind as I
Ah.
saw it come down, I couldn't recall any of the details about the vehicle.
So it'd be fair to say the only thing you can recall about the vehicle was the color of it.
That it was a red SUV, a larger vehicle.
So the color of it.
Correct.
Yes. Your semantics
You
stick.
stated
The only
that you
detail is red.
initially waited before you seek medical attention. Any reason
Oh
why
my
you
God.
would wait?
He said.
Walked through the variables earlier. That
He said they're both medically trained, apparently.
the hospital was on lockdown. I'm familiar with hospital operations enough to know that the acuity for my daughter didn't warrant me taking resources from other victims. My wife's
Kind of like a fake shoulder injury. Daryl taking resources from your victims. Ugh.
a provider, an urgent care nurse practitioner. I felt she would be in a better position 15, 20 minutes later to assess and handle that from there.
You stated you did the father thing, as you put it, and downplayed the significance of the injury. Any reason why you would downplay it?
I think my initial reaction was a little confusion of what was going on and not seeing any bones sticking out or any blood. I immediately went into this sort of you're okay, meaning compared to
He can't imagine his precious daughter having been struck by a monster in a vehicle at a Christmas parade. And he's doing the best he can. Again, I will not criticize the decisions made by these people for their own medical care or their children's medical care or how they responded to the trauma of all of this. Daryl is despicable.
everything else I'm seeing around us. You're in an okay position right now to get home. So I don't know if it was downplaying the injury per se, but it was more of just a triaging in my own mind of going, it's not that, it's okay.
It
We can
would
get through
be
this.
fair to say that the language you used was you downplayed the injury. Would that be
Correct.
fair to
Yep.
say?
Yep.
Yes.
That's correct.
Fair. And it said, doesn't help you. Because the injury was worse than what. Okay, wait a minute. So let's work this through. So Daryl is saying, you didn't think the injury was so bad after I ran over your daughter's foot. And then you found out it was worse than you thought. How does that make him a problem? How does that make this guy the bad guy in the situation? No. When I ran over your daughter's foot, you didn't think it was so bad, but it was way worse. Daryl, you don't think about these things. You didn't think that one through, Daryl. Stupid.
After the vehicle passed you, did you observe anyone being struck?
Not being struck.
Before the vehicle approached, did you observe anyone being struck?
Yes.
What do we do with the red pants, Jane?
You also stated that at one point, after you were observing the path of travel of the vehicle, that it felt like it was straightening up into the middle of the parade route. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
What do you mean by it felt that way?
Maybe in an incorrect term on my part. My memory, my recollection of the memory was that when it veered off, it went on and continued down the middle of Main Street.
So would it be fair to say that you really don't recall?
I certainly recall the vehicle heading back down Main Street, down the middle of Main Street.
I'm referring to you saying that it, what it felt like, as opposed to what you recall it doing.
I used the incorrect term there. When I said
Argumentative.
felt, it was more of the word choice of recall.
We
I should
need
have
to
used.
help. It doesn't matter, Daryl. It doesn't help you. You're okay. You're okay, bud. You're fine. You're doing great. These guys are not sweating that word at all.
And you stated that you would estimate the speed of the vehicle to be about 25 miles an hour.
I said 25 to 30 miles per hour.
So somewhere in between that.
Not helping you, Daryl.
And you also stated that it was the vehicle was about 30 feet away from you.
Originally,
When
yes.
I first initially saw the video, the
Ugh.
vehicle was 30 feet away. It was just on the other side of the vehicle, the large suburban vehicle,
So how could you come to the determination of the speed?
because it was barreling right at us. So as it came around the vehicle, started coming towards us, it felt like 25 to 30 miles per hour, and then as it veered off, no brake lights, just veered off and continued right down Main Street.
This
At that
estimate,
speed.
Daryl.
So
It doesn't help you.
it felt like that was the speed. Is the term you just used again, felt. It felt like it was going that speed.
Yeah, that's the estimate.
So I'm using
You're asking him the estimate. The prosecution asked him the estimate. He is using that, again, as a term of generalization. A lot of people these days do feel like. I feel like this. I feel like this. I used to hate that in college. You don't feel like it. Be distinct. Be direct. But it's just a generalization. It's not that big a deal.
the term felt, and I am defining that as sort of a mental recollection or a gut feel. I'm not trained in assessing speed, so my gut feel, what I felt at that time driving that street numerous times, is that it was going 25 to 30 miles per hour.
So would it be fair to say, based on what you just said, that you're not trained in speed analyzation? That would it be fair? Would it be fair to say that you don't know exactly the speed of the vehicle?
No. Yep.
Grounds. That's based on what he
Hold
said.
on, you asked multiple questions, so I'm going off of the very last question that you asked. And that is, would it be fair to say that you don't know the speed of the vehicle? To that question, the objection is overruled and the witness may answer.
Yes, without looking at a speedometer, I would have no way of knowing exactly how fast that vehicle was going.
Thank you. That's logical. Now let's hear what doesn't
Did you notice any
seem
damage
logical.
to the vehicle at
Oh
that
my
point
God.
that it passed you?
How does that question help Daryl? As I was running over all of these people, did I damage my vehicle?
I don't recall honing in on that level of detail on the vehicle, so I don't recall.
Reasonable. But yes, there was damage to the hood of the vehicle by that point.
Do you recall if you may have seen anyone else present in the vehicle?
He
I don't
doesn't know.
recall.
Okay, again, I was thinking about this last night. Why is he asking about, like, passengers in the vehicle? How do passengers in the vehicle help him at all? They would just be other victims of Daryl's debauchery. Okay, what is the... was the guy in the back seat that Daryl's pretending was there have any influence of Daryl? Clearly, with picture evidence, we have pictures of his troll-looking face staring out the window right like this, and you can see it through the clear glass, and then again in other video still shots where the window's down and you can see his troll-looking face. Why would a passenger influence a jury member to acquit him of this? Would a passenger make a difference? It would just be another witness. Ugh.
Did you ever make any statements to law enforcement after the incident at any time?
My wife and I both shared information on behalf of the crash report and our findings, or our initial statement.
You recall if that was the same night of the incident or in the following days after?
That was the following days.
Do you recall if it was a few days after or maybe a week or two?
I don't recall specifically. I believe probably within a week or so.
Any idea why it took so long for you to give a report? You and your wife, rather, to give a report?
Yeah, just dealing with my daughter and getting her situated, and just the magnitude of the incident. I think it took them a little bit longer. I think we were in contact pretty quickly, but it just took a while for them to get the resources back to us to collect everything.
Did you initially initiate the contact with attempting to file a report?
I can't recall specifically. It's been close to a year, but I believe we did reach out to the DA's office at some point in the following days.
Did you do any follow-up after that initial contact to see if maybe your report had been filed or anything like that?
At that point, the DA's office stayed in contact with us to let us know that everything they needed had been captured.
Do you recall who you talked to from the DA's office?
I don't recall.
Do you recall do you recall being told that you may be called to testify in this matter?
I do.
Were you seeking to testify in this matter?
I know I was subpoenaed directly from the state, the DA's office.
So you didn't have any intention to testify in this matter before being subpoenaed?
I knew it was a possibility. I never reached out to request to testify. I let them do their job, and they reached out to me to let me know that I would get subpoenaed.
Have you read or seen any complaint in this matter? Grounds?
Sustained.
Have you or your wife filed any claims in this matter?
Which claim, defined claims?
He doesn't know the definition of what he wants to know.
Referring to being an injured party or anything of that nature?
We submitted a claim with the DA's office, I believe, for potential medical
Assistance,
reimbursement.
medical assistance
So that would
from
be in
victims.
regards.
For victims, victims get assistance with their medical bills, mental health bills, if that's the case, things like that. There are crisis funds for victims, but he doesn't even know what he's asking. This is just one of his stupid soft sit things. Basically, are you filing a claim against me? He can't even say that, because if he does, then that would open it up to the complete obvious, the fact that it's so obviously so wrong. Ugh, he's so slimy.
To the medical bills.
For my daughter, correct.
So would it be fair to say that you have a financial interest in this matter?
No, no. How is that a financial interest? He's not benefiting from it. That's not a benefit. That is reimbursement for the harm you caused, Daryl. You caused harm. Harm. Oh, he just so read the room, dude.
Grounds.
Read the room.
Sustained.
Would you consider yourself to be an injured party in this matter?
Me personally, no. Not physically.
There you go. Not
So
physically.
you weren't injured in any way in this?
Not physically injured, no.
Not physically. Thank you for staying on point with that, sir. You absolutely deserve that recognition. He's a nice guy. He's starting to.
Are you aware of the plaintiff in this matter?
Don't worry, it's
Objection,
almost
relevant.
over.
Grounds.
Sustained.
It's almost over. He's running
Ever
out of
had
anything
any
to say.
contact with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Vague. Sustained.
Ever had any phone conversations or personal interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Again, with regard to the nature of the question, it's vague.
Sustained.
I don't believe that's vague, Your Honor. I asked specifically if there were any phone conversations or personal interactions. I don't think that's vague. I think that's pretty clear.
Sustained.
Okay.
I also believe the jury deserves to know if there is a plaintiff in this matter.
Your objection's noted. It's to that particular statement. Or your statement is noted. To the objection from the state, it is sustained. Next question, please.
Are you aware if there even is a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
May I have the grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
Relevant.
I would object and say that it's very relevant. Again, citing
Your
that.
objection is noted. Next question, please.
He thinks he's doing something here. So dumb. Wait. Is Daryl losing hair back here now too? He's got his horns. And it looks like this island is separating. It's seceding from the continent. This looks like it's getting thin. Ugh, Daryl. You're losing it, bud. Turning into more and more of the
Were you ever
monster that you
contacted by
are.
anyone who identified as the
Oh my
plaintiff?
God.
Grounds.
Sustained. Still vague.
Cut him off.
That's pretty clear, Your Honor. The jury deserves to know
No,
this
no.
information.
Mr. Brooks, the objection has been sustained. Next question, please.
No further questions.
Thank
Any
you.
redirect?
Briefly. Sir, in cross-examination, you had testified that you did not see any brake lights. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Ground.
Relevancy.
Overruled.
Sorry, correct, yes.
Okay. you testified further on cross-examination that you observed the red SUV strike an individual to your left. Is that correct?
Objection. He also stated that he was focused on his children and not focused on.
Okay, thank you for testifying, Daryl. I love it when they laugh at him, just like blatantly laugh out loud.
Argumentative statement. What's the legal basis for your objection, Mr. Brooks?
That is hearsay.
Overruled.
I did not see the individual to my left get hit. I just saw her on the ground, or the victim on the ground.
After you saw her on the ground, did the red SUV stop?
Objection. Hearsay.
How's that hearsay?
Give me an answer.
I did not see the red SUV from that duration of the parade. I didn't see the red SUV until the vehicle had already passed that position and came around the other large SUV. So I can't speak to what happened back there.
Was there anything that you could see in the roadway that would have prevented that red SUV from stopping before it started veering towards your group?
Objection. Hearsay.
Hearsay?
See,
The
couldn't see
objection to
above that.
hearsay is noted. It's overruled.
Because it's
You may answer.
stupid.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Certainly. Did you see anything in front of you that would have prevented the red SUV from stopping as it passed that car that obstructed your view initially?
Objection. Irrelevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
Nothing that I saw would have stopped him. That wouldn't have allowed him to stop.
And after he impacted your group that was watching the parade and it continued on towards the Dancing Grannies, was there anything that you could see that would have stopped the red SUV?
Objection. Who's the
What?
he you're referring to?
Okay, listen. You have to let
I
her
don't
finish
understand
the question.
Objection. Were you done asking your question?
I was.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't consent to being called he. We don't even know the he that's being referred to.
Okay,
Overruled.
did he just not admit? He just did admit. Well, I was in the car, but I object to being called he. Okay, so did Daryl Brooks start this whole pronoun thing? Who is you? I'm not he. Listen, you just admitted being in the driver's seat. I don't want to be called he. And you just said the driver was a he. Okay. Daryl.
The witness didn't identify a he.
Overruled.
I don't recall seeing anything in the road that would have stopped him from stopping, prevented him from stopping.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right. Thank you. You may step down.
And again, just language-wise, we're talking a generalization. If you don't know the gender, it goes to the masculine. It just does. If there's not a gender assigned to the character becomes masculine until otherwise noted. Ugh.
This will be an excellent point to take our mid-morning break. We'll be in recess for about 15 minutes. All rise for the jury, please.
Okay, all rise. I do need to rise too. I feel like I don't even know if I could get up out of this chair. Okay, like, subscribe, and share if you wish, and I hope everybody has a great day.